I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of the press for showing up today. Before we start, I would like to inform you that after we're done with the presentations by a few speakers, then we'll take questions about any of the subjects we're talking about today. Today, the subjects that we're going to cover are the 2017 stats for the year. We're also going to cover a little bit on the heroin epidemic that's going on in our region at this point. And then we also have our canine officer in here, Officer Adams. Officer Adams was involved in a pursuit this morning along with all the other officers on the shift, and our canine did some pretty extraordinary things this morning. He took a suspect into custody that we have been looking for over a month. There was a car pursuit and then a pursuit on foot, and the canine took off after the suspect and ended up catching him for us. So he did a very good job. This is just one of the tools that we utilize here at the department to help keep our officers safe and our citizens safe in the city of Saginaw. And I guess the word to the wise would be, don't run from a police dog. You're going to get caught. So when this is done, if you'd like to talk to Officer Adams a little bit about the canine program and or that pursuit this morning, you're more than welcome to do so. So we've got quite a few stories for you this morning. Here with me today, I'd like to introduce the individuals that are here. To my far right is Randy Fowle. He is the Director of Saginaw County 911. Next to him is John Julin. He's a lieutenant that is in charge of the Saginaw area, or the City of Saginaw itself, for the Michigan State Police. Next to him is Lieutenant Mike Gomez with the Saginaw County Sheriff's Department. Lieutenant Craig Bell with the Saginaw Police Department. I almost gave him a promotion. Next to him is Lieutenant David Konjorski with the Saginaw Police Department, and our Sheriff, Bill Fetterspiel, the Chief Judge of Saginaw County, the Honorable Pat McGraw, and next to him is our City Manager, Tim Morales, and our Honorable Mayor, Dennis Browning. I should know that. I only worked with him for I don't know how many years. Yeah, a few years. And to my left, we have our County Prosecutor, our County Prosecutor John McCulgan. And next to him, we have our chaplain, our head chaplain here at the Saginaw Police Department, Bob Davis. And our Mayor Pro Tem, Floyd Clock, Councilman John Millen, and Councilman John Humphreys. Everybody will be available after the press conference to add whatever information you would like. The crime stats for this year, I want to say that we have done an excellent job again in 2017. I hope that 2018 is just as good of a year, if not better. Our goal is always to reduce the stats. Last year, our overall crime, Part 1 crime, was down 3% over the following year. This trend has been going on now for about 4.5 to 5 years. And we are reducing crime in the city with one purpose, so that the citizens are safe, so they feel comfortable in their homes. And this is being attained by the team effort that we're all doing. It's not just the police that are doing this. It's not just the prosecutors. It's not just the neighborhood associations. It's everybody working together as a team. That's how we're accomplishing this goal. I want to take this opportunity to thank our officers here at the Saginaw Police Department, our detectives, all of our civilian staff, along with the MSP officers and detectives that work here in the city of Saginaw. They do an outstanding job at working together as partners to help fight crime. Again, as I stated earlier, we cannot do that, though, without the neighborhood associations. We can't do it without Central Dispatch. As you well know, Central Dispatch is the main hub where all calls go into and are dispatched to the officers in the city. That's where the crime is first reported, or an incident is first reported. It's a very key position that they hold over there. They have to convey the information that they're getting from the citizens properly to the police officers so they can respond to give assistance. I'd like to thank our city manager and the city staff, along with our city council, for the support that we get. Our city inspections division. The inspections is an extremely important part of keeping Saginaw safe. And our fight of blight within the city is extremely important. That is what is part of the equation in making this a safe community to live. I also want to thank our Victim Services Unit here at the Saginaw Police Department, the CAN Council, the Underground Railroad, and we can't forget about the Saginaw Community Foundation on everything that they do for us. One of the more important relationships that we have is with Saginaw County Community Mental Health. A lady that works there by the name of Nancy Johnson, she helps us dearly with training here at the Department of the Officers. And it really helps with the interaction with the citizens in the community, especially when we're dealing with mental health issues. And right now, it seems like there's more mental health issues going on in society than we've dealt with in the past. So that training that we're getting is extremely important. Another association is the 100 Club. The 100 Club of Saginaw County graciously donates, it seems like on an annual basis, money to the Saginaw Police Department so that we can purchase equipment to help save lives of the officers and the citizens within our fine city. The Rotary Club, same thing. The Rotary Club of Saginaw has donated money to us last year, and we've got the indication that they're going to donate money to us again this year to buy equipment that is direly needed by our department to help fight crime. Of course, I can't forget about Bayonet, the FBI RAN Safe Streets Unit, the Michigan State Police. Without the Michigan State Police, we couldn't do it at this point. We do not have the proper amount of funding at this point to maintain the police department in the city without the MSP's help. We just don't, and I'll be the first to admit that to you. Without their help, we just couldn't do it. The Sheriff's Department, same thing. The sheriff is there every time I need him. I make a phone call, he's there to assist. We have a scene on the road where we need assistance, he's always there, always. His supervision, his people are always there to help us out and stand behind us. And we greatly appreciate all the help and effort we get from them. The Michigan Department of Corrections, the Saginaw County Prosecutor's Office. I'll let Mr. McColgan speak to that in a few moments. But that relationship that we have with the Prosecutor's Office is another key element to fighting crime in the city. Our Saginaw County judges, we can't do it without the judges. We just can't. The judges are locking these people up. They're sending them to prison, the ones who are doing wrong. And that's the only way we're going to combat crime into the future, is we have to send a message to the community. If you do something wrong, if you murder somebody, you shoot somebody, there are consequences for your actions, and you will go to prison. Of course, the FBI, the ATF, Secret Service, the Department of Justice, and the U.S. Marshals. They all work here within the city of Saginaw to help fight crime. There's probably several others out there that I've missed, but this is a joint team effort. We cannot do it alone. This is everybody working together as a team to help fight crime. And again, the stats speak for themselves. They are the Part 1 crimes, the more violent crimes, and we are down 3% over last year. The next thing I'd like to talk about just for a few moments is you'll see on the table over there, there's another stack. I would encourage you to take one of the pamphlets. These are the heroin overdoses for the last 3 years. Now, is there a heroin epidemic? Oh yeah, there is. You can hear it out of Washington. The Department of Justice has come to that realization, and they're giving money to municipalities and across the United States to help fight the heroin epidemic. It is becoming more prevalent. I've started to notice this about 4 or 5 years ago. We started to see cocaine going away, and heroin was becoming more prevalent at that time. 2015, we started to track the heroin overdoses versus the cocaine overdoses that we were having. In 2015, we had 6 heroin overdoses, 3 of which died. The other 3 lived. In 2015, we had 6 cocaine overdoses. All 6 died. In 2016, we had 12 heroin overdoses. Of those 12 heroin overdoses, this is when Narcan just started to come into the system. 9 9 of those 12 were given Narcan. 8 of them lived, 4 of them died from the heroin overdoses. 2016 on cocaine overdoses, we had 6. 5 died, 1 lived. This brings us to 2017. We knew the numbers were growing. We could see it just from 2014 to 15 on into 16. In 2017, we had a total of 31 heroin overdoses. Narcan was issued 21 times. Of those 21 times it was issued, 18 people were saved by the officers on the road by using Narcan. Total of 23 people in 2017 lived. 8 people died because of heroin overdoses. We couldn't get to all of them. Some of the people took the heroin. They were found by family members a day or so later. Narcan's not going to save them at that point. We've got to get there rather quickly when they overdose on Narcan, or excuse me, on heroin, to administer the Narcan. Cocaine overdoses last year, 1. The use of cocaine is going down. The use of heroin is becoming more prevalent. And that's not just here in the city of Saginaw, that's all across the United States. One thing you have to remember in this, a gateway drug to heroin is marijuana. I know marijuana is a big issue nowadays. All the communities want to have dispensaries and looking at the tax base that they could get. There are consequences to that, severe consequences. And we're seeing it before our eyes with our statistics on heroin usage at this point. It is increasing. Now, we do have measures in place as a society and as a law enforcement here in Saginaw County to help reduce that this year. We'll see how it works at the end of the year. And hopefully next year we're talking about some good stats. And that is all that I have at this point. I can answer some questions for you a little bit later. I'd like to bring up John McCulgan, our county prosecutor.
Thank you, Chief. Stole most of my thunder, though.
Well,
The bottom line is the teamwork that's going on in your community. We'd all like to get up here and tell you that there's no crime in Saginaw. Unfortunately, that's not the case and probably never will be. However, if someone would have said to me 6 or 7 years ago, let's go down to the Bancroft and ring in the new year, I probably would have passed. My wife and I did exactly that this year, rang in 2018 at the beautiful Bancroft ballroom with a couple hundred other people, had a great time in downtown Saginaw. This is due to the great job my staff has done in the past several years of convicting and getting sent to prison those individuals who have been wreaking havoc on our community. Due to my staff's efforts, many people who might have been murdered are alive today, as reflected in the reduced number of homicides over the last several years. While I can tout the accomplishments of my office, we could do none of it without the assistance of our community. We are truly blessed with a team of professionals where you are looking at, and the new ones that we have coming on, who work day in and day out to make Saginaw County a great place to work, worship, live, and play. Our first responders, which includes police, fire, MMR, ER doctors, and nurses, are second to none, and they truly care about the community as shown by their efforts every day. I received a text from a police officer on New Year's Day about an individual he found who was blue in color and had no pulse. And Chief didn't add this one for the 18 stats. Blue in color, had no pulse. The individual had OD'd on heroin. The officer administered 5 doses of Narcan and saved his life. Sadly, I also received another text on New Year's Day about the 3-year-old that you probably have all heard about by now. That poor baby was at death's door. However, the first responders and the hospital staff have kept that poor little baby alive, so at worst, with the parents' consent, there will be organ donation that will save another life. That's the kind of effort put forth by our local first responders day in and day out. Their efforts also include their tireless work gathering evidence and putting the cases together so my staff can go to court and be successful. That includes the officers on the road, the detectives, We just have great people here. We also couldn't do our job without our outstanding community partners, which the chief named several. Can Council, Underground Railroad, Saginaw Community Mental Health, the supporters of the Saginaw Witness Assistance Program, which provides the support needed to allow witnesses to come forward and feel safe in doing so, because we can't convict these people without witnesses, obviously. A huge shout out to our great community supporter of SWAP, Consumers Energy. Could you hand me that check over there? Who so wonderfully donated, again, to the SWAP program this year, $10,000. They are just a great community partner, as evidenced by their support of the Light Up the City program, where walks are held every Wednesday night in the summer in different neighborhoods, trying to get the people out in their neighborhood and retake their neighborhood. It has been very successful. It's a great event. Everybody should get out and partake. Our team extends to the governor's office as well. He has seen fit to continue to support my office with 3 attorneys out of the Attorney General's office. They're called Special Assistant Attorney Generals. I think Flint has 5. They designated these people for the distressed cities way back when. And thankfully, even though we're off the list of the 10 worst in the country, they still are supporting us through the governor's office with these attorneys to keep crime at bay as best we can. Also, have to acknowledge the Saginaw County Board of Commissioners for stepping up and funding the Major Crimes Unit in my office when the grant ran out. Your local officials are doing wonderful things to keep your community safe and make it a great place for you to live. Let's see here. Oh, the guards out at the prison as well. Can't overlook them. They do a great job every day, day in and day out there, keeping us safe in this community. We are truly blessed to have such a great team of professionals who work to keep our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Judge?
Good morning. All I can do is echo what's been said up here. I can't add a lot to the cooperation that we see in the Saginaw County courts. I'm proud to serve as our chief judge. We have 11 great judges that are sitting there doing what they're supposed to be doing every day, and they go beyond what they're supposed to be doing every day. What hasn't been mentioned is the work that the judges are doing in forming specialty courts to stop recidivism that happens in our county. We have a judge running two judges running drug courts. We have judges running a business court. We have judges running swift and sure courts. We have a veterans court. We have a mental health court, and we're going to be starting a sobriety court. All these courts also help with what's going on here today in reducing the repeat offenders and hopefully returning some of these people back into Saginaw in a productive mode rather than just locking them up and putting them away forever. But as Chief said, if the crime is done and they prove that crime, our judges have been very good at putting out the appropriate punishment, and I'm very proud to work with them. One thing I'll do, ending my role as chief judge here, is give you a little commercial on the 100 Club that the chief mentioned, because I'm the president of the 100 Club. We have our dinner meeting January 24th, and we will be giving out more grants this year to some of the groups that are in here, and AT&T has graciously stepped up and provided a large sum of money. You're all invited to that to see the presentation of various fire departments and police departments that will be giving out money to help hopefully save more lives in Saginaw County.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Sheriff?
Thank you, Chief, and good morning, everyone. It's hard to believe, at least for me, that I'm entering my 10th year as Sheriff of Saginaw County. Some of you may think I've been there 25 years, though, that been working together, but it is amazing to me, and I'm heartened by the efforts that have been put forth by all of the agencies represented here and those that were mentioned by the Chief. Having been a resident of the City of Saginaw for the majority of my nearly 50 years, haven't hit that mark yet, but I'm close, I must say that I'm very proud of the efforts of this city. And it starts with our mayor and our council. Having once sat on city council, keeping a seat warm for our mayor until he returned many years ago. I understand the difficult job of the legislative branch of government. It's easy for some to sit back and say, wow, the legislators, they have a difficult time. It is difficult because you must reach a consensus of 9. And on the commission, as our prosecutor mentioned, we have a great group of 11 commissioners, and they must reach a consensus of 6 to get the business done. So the work being done at the legislative branches of the county and the city have proved very beneficial for all of us in law enforcement, to keep all of us here working and doing the hard work that is needed to protect our citizens in a very dangerous day and age for law enforcement. I want to make sure that people know here in Saginaw County, I'm very pleased to say that we do not reflect what is sometimes reported in national media of the anti-police sentiment that is sometimes heard or read about in periodicals. We have good working relationships with our community, and I'm proud of that. And I'm sure the city police department and the Michigan State Police feel the same way. We have great support from our community, and that's what drives this reduction in crime, the working together, the being part of the fabric of our community. As a sheriff, we do provide whatever support from law enforcement divisions we have to the city of Saginaw as to the rest of the county. We also maintain the jail, the only jail here in Saginaw County, and without the prosecutor's hard work and efforts, and without our judges, I tell you, I would like to just step back and talk about the judicial branch, because without working with our judges, as well as we have over the last 5 years, our numbers in the jail would be well over the counts of our capacity, which they were prior to my arriving as sheriff in 2008. But by working with all of the judges at the district and circuit court, they've been able to identify individuals who may be better served for the community to be out on a tether, whether it be a sober link or a GPS tether, for minor offenses, thereby keeping the jail open for more violent offenders. And I'm proud to say that we've never had to close the jail in my nearly 10 years as sheriff, and it's due to the fact that the judges have done an excellent job of managing that population for us. So I want to give a shout out to the judicial branch and all the hard work that they are doing. Again, with all the men and women and the 4 new officers, I welcome you to the Saginaw County law enforcement community. I look forward to seeing you out there on the road, and looking forward to working with everyone in the new year to drive this crime down even further. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes our speeches at this point in time. I'd like to, if one guy would sneak through the back door. This is Steve Flattery with the FBI. He's another key equation to fighting crime here in the city of Saginaw and keeping crime down. And we really appreciate the efforts of the FBI. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming today. Hopefully next year we have even better stats.